Coffee ready. Almost ready. It's Monday. We're back at it. Let's do this. As soon as my coffee drains. Through my filter. Almost there. Come on. Hurry up. I want to drink you. My coffee filter is like almost like clogged or something. Come on. Come on. Come on. I feel like this is some weird Alice in Wonderland themed joke. You know, little bottles, drink me. This is saying, don't drink me. Come on. Apparently, the ground's packed into the filter. Well, we're just gonna call it right there. Because I've got almost the entire cup. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Monday. It is January 25th, 2021. Still weird to say that. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Well, it came out good. I hope you had a great weekend. I certainly did. Got a lot done. Some things that I wanted to do, some of the things I needed to do. What did I do Friday? Friday was an interesting day. I was done with work about 1 o'clock. One of my goals has been Fridays to be half days, and well, this past Friday I did it. I made it a half day, which was pretty great. Excuse me. And then what did I do? Not a lot. Hung out, went to the gym, just kind of enjoyed relaxing. Saturday, did some shopping, grocery shopping, Costco, and all that kind of thing. And then yesterday was just chores, all day chores. And you know, something I found that helps keep me motivated. I struggle to be productive kind of in a bubble. You know, I live alone. All this work is my responsibility. And so sometimes on the weekend it can be really hard for me to prioritize getting work done. I just want to, you know, part of me just wants to sit and watch TV or watch a movie. But I find there are a few things. One, if I get up and go immediately into being productive, you know, have my coffee, before I even have breakfast, start doing something productive. And then two, I will put on something on YouTube of people like being productive, like building a house, building a cabin in the woods, and just kind of let it autoplay and just make sure it's loud enough I can hear it in the rest of the house. So I'm around other people working, and that works really well for me. So tips for you if you struggle with getting stuff done on the weekends. But what kind of stuff did I get done? I cleaned the house. Well, my list is right here. What did I do? I had an inverter, power inverter for the car that I tested, and it didn't work. I fixed my computer, took out the trash, put on the license plates on my new car, that kind of stuff. Nothing really special. Although it was cold. It got up to a high of about 20. When I woke up this morning, it was 0. For those of you who live in other parts of the world and you don't use Fahrenheit, it was minus 15. Cold. I don't like it this cold. This is like the bottom of where cold should get. Should never get colder than 0. It's 0. And yeah, I know there's a joke in there, but it'll continue to get colder. I think we've got a day this week where the high is going to be under 10. It's going to be like 8. That's very cold. What I find interesting is if I look at a map, for those of you who don't live in the Northeast, you may not realize that we are south, not far south, here in Montpelier, of Montreal, Canada. Quebec. It is almost always warmer there. 3 hours north. You think of Canada being super cold? No, it's colder here. I don't know why we do that to ourselves. but we do. So I miss Canada. I miss going to Quebec, hanging out, getting bagels, going to museums. It's a really cool city, Montreal. I would like to spend more time there. Maybe someday when there isn't a pandemic again. Cat's over there sleeping on her spot. I did go to the gym yesterday. It's just been a productive weekend. And so what's going on today? How am I going to carry that productivity forward? Well, I am going to work on all the things that have to happen to get the book out. I've got to come up with a cover. I've got to come up with a description. I've got to fill out all these things on Amazon. So my goal today, one of my goals this morning, is to get that set up and open it up for pre-release, pre-order. There we go. Open it up for pre-order. And I still have to do the thank you page and the dedications, stuff like that. So I'll probably do all that this morning. What else? A couple client calls today. This week, knock on wood, is not the busiest of weeks. Still working with a newer client. I'm doing research for a potential client, and it looks like there's another one coming on. So I am getting busier and busier. If any of you out there want me to work with your martial arts school, oh yeah, we confirmed that last week too. I got a new martial arts school we're working with. Things are getting busy. It's great. It can be a little stressful, but it's great. I'm enjoying it. Some big projects going on with some of these guys. And it's nice to work on stuff that people appreciate, that makes money, and that I am good at. There's another client project I worked on Friday that I gotta say, I'm crushing it. They're pumped. I'm pumped. So, is there more to say? It's Monday. Let's see if the episode's out yet. I hear the trash being picked up. Yesterday, there's a project that I'm going to show you guys eventually. I'm not ready yet, but let's say it stems from this mental exercise that I was going through of if we were to recreate if we were to create martial arts style weapons today with modern materials, what would they be? Well, I'm building something, and I really need tools to do it right, more tools than I have, but I'm knocking together a prototype. And when it's ready to show you, I'll show you, because it's kind of cool. It needs some more work. So. All right. It's Monday's episode here. Let's see. Library, your videos. Not up yet. It'll be there soon. Oh, and it looks like the video version of 573, the difference between coaches, instructors, and teachers, that Andrew Adams, that Andrew and I did, that came out Thursday. The video version is there, so if you want to check that out, you can do that. Cool. All right. So today's episode is not up yet. Julius will have it up soon. Something I want to point out, because it's been an interesting thing for me. If we roll back to March, I used to have a really hard time spending a lot of time in my own home. Not because I disliked it or anything, but it just wasn't my lifestyle. I was going to martial arts events almost every weekend, and this was my home base. This was just where I launched from. I kept my stuff here. I'd come back, swap things out, and leave again. But obviously, that's not what I've been doing since March. There were brief stints where I was able to go to Panera and work from there. That was it. Can't do that right now. The dining room's closed. I've thought about going to an actual restaurant and bringing my laptop just so I could have a change of venue. But now, there's something different about this space. There's something I am more grateful, I am more content. I'm putting together my plans for outside, for the spring, summer, fall with planting and renovations. I got garden catalogs and everything. I love my space a lot more. I've been more willing to, I guess, invest in it, decorate it. It's not just a spot, it's my home. And so I have a day like yesterday where, yeah, I'm doing work around the house, but I'm grateful that I have this home. I'm grateful that I have this place to be that is so many things. It's where I get to sleep and live and launch whistlekick and do all these other things. One of my friends, he has not been on martial arts radio. At some point, I would like him to be. He is a martial artist, good friend, good supporter, personally and professionally. There were 3 or 4 times he came down over the summer. He lives in Burlington. Just to help me work outside. And hearing him describe my home really helped change my perspective. You know, I grew up in a spot similar to this, you know. Small piece of land, rural town, out in the woods, garden, that kind of stuff. But when you don't live somewhere like this, when you live in a city, when you can better appreciate that contrast, this is a pretty cool spot. You know, so I look outside and it's like, okay, let's take that fire pit a little further. Let's build a path here. How do we trim these trees back a little bit so we can plant something over here? You know, that kind of stuff. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to watch this place grow. My cabin in the woods, my retreat. I live here all the time. All right. That's enough of my Walt Whitman-esque rambling. Let's see what you all wrote in for me to talk about. I see something here from John and from Frank. Let's dig in. All right. John says, you mentioned the Twisted Tea video and memes. Master Ken made a video in response to it. If you haven't seen Master Ken's video, you really should. It is hilarious, one of his best. I have seen that video. Shout out to Master Ken, who is played by, orchestrated, created by, played by, all those things by Mr. Matt Page. What episode of Martial Arts Radio was that? It was like 38. We're going way back. It was a great episode. He's a great guy. He's a funny guy. He's been a supporter of whistlekick. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That almost implies an endorsement. I don't mean it that way. I mean, when I've reached out to him, when I've initiated conversation, he's responded. He was gracious enough to accept my Facebook friend request years ago. And, you know, we engage from time to time. And he's a great guy. He really is. And, you know, he's a wonderful supporter of the martial arts and lending some humor and getting us to realize that sometimes we are, maybe we take things a little too seriously. But his recent comments about the Nicolas Cage movie, Jiu-Jitsu, he had some stuff to say, which makes me want to see it more. So. Yeah, everyone should be following Master Ken's stuff. It's great. It's great content. It doesn't come out, you know, all the time. You're not gonna lose sleep because there's too much, but it's fun stuff. It makes me proud to be a martial artist. And we've got some Bruce Lee quotes from Frank. Shout out and thank you to Frank. What is more important than what should be. I think it depends on your perspective. I could make a case for the exact opposite. If you are thinking practically, if you're thinking about what you should do right now, if you're thinking about how to keep yourself safe, if you're thinking about how to relax, what is more important than what should be. You're being present. We've talked about being present on this show a bunch lately. But what if you talk about your goals? What if you talk about how to progress, how to grow? What if you talk about changing things that you dislike? Then it's the exact opposite. What should be is more important than what is. People lose sight of what should be. Now, my guess is, because of the word choice, what should be, not what you want. We do have a tendency as human beings to, especially in modern society, to look at what we wish was the case and say, oh, I can't do this because I should have, or this should have happened, or I would have made it here if not for, or my favorite one from comedian Lewis Black, would have made it through college if it hadn't been for that damn horse. Might be butchering that quote slightly. That might be my favorite Lewis Black bit. I don't like the word should. Should implies, not even implies, should is judgment. I should have known. But you didn't. Why should you have? I don't like self-judgment. I think it's wasteful energy. I don't think it helps anything, and you shouldn't do it. I try to avoid doing it. When I catch other people using those self-judgmental words, if they're people I know well, I call them on it. Be nice to yourself. We have this habit of treating ourselves, in some ways, far worse than we treat anyone else. We don't need to do that. Once we go out on our own, once we leave our parents, we really are most responsible for our own growth, our own nurturing. For most of us, somewhere between 14 and maybe 22, 23, we become our own parents. How far are you going to get if you're judgmental as a parent raising your child? You should have known. Some of us were raised by people like that. Didn't go well. You gotta undo some of that stuff. Don't do it to yourself. Next, true refinement seeks simplicity. Yes. This is when I think about Bruce Lee, when I think about Jeet Kune Do, when I think about the philosophical contributions that he made to martial arts, this is it. And I can simplify this quote to a single word concept: elegant. When we think about being elegant, what is elegant? Elegant is effective yet simple. If we think of an elegant design, you may hear, if you're in technology, you might hear programmers talking about elegant code. What's elegant code? It takes fewer lines to get something done than maybe an alternative. When we think about an elegant, something in a home. When I think of an elegant home, it's simple, it's understated, it's effective, and yet still attractive in that design. There is a sense of beauty to it. When we think about elegant martial arts, we're talking about simple, we're talking about easy to understand, easy to do, easy to replicate, and effective. I most often think about elegance in regards to martial arts when I'm thinking about self-defense movements. Most of us have been taught somewhere along the way by somebody who teaches self-defense in a very complex way. Well, the punch comes in and you do this, 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 this. Okay? I'm not going to remember that when it comes time, especially if you're teaching a self-defense seminar. People come in, they don't know martial arts. It needs to be simple. It needs to be effective. It needs to be easy to remember. It needs to be elegant. Someone comes in and they punch, you do this and this. Or you do this and this. Or you do this and this. Even better, someone punches this way or this way or this way or this way, and you can do the same thing, this and this. That's elegant. An elegant self-defense curriculum is as simplistic as possible, as widely effective as possible. If we think about elegance in other aspects of martial arts, maybe sparring. Superfoot Bill Wallace. His system is, to me, the textbook definition of elegant. 3 kicks, 4 punches. No blocks. That's it. Kind of 1 block. Kind of cuff a jab. That's it. And if you know anything about how those movements can be put together, you could use that strategy in, maybe it wouldn't be the most effective across all combat disciplines, but it certainly worked in kickboxing. It certainly works in point sparring. Could you use it in Olympic Taekwondo sparring? Yep. Could you use it in Muay Thai? Could. You could use it anywhere. Doesn't mean it's the best. It's the most effective in every case, but it's effective in a lot of them. It's useful, at least to some degree, everywhere. That's an elegant design. Simple, effective, easy to understand and replicate. Next. Hey, turn on. All right. Hey, come on. It's not what you give, it's the way you give it. When I was in college, I double majored. So I went into college. I was originally going to be a business major that changed to computer science very quickly. And the school that I went to, just the way classes fell, I ended up being 4 classes towards a 6-class minor in philosophy, just off the bat. Like, didn't even have to work for it. Oh, so a couple more classes and I can have a minor? But then I looked closer and saw philosophy was one of those majors at my school that if you double majored, you only needed 8. So 4 more classes and I get to say I double majored in philosophy? Yes. So I did. I think I ended up with 9 or 10 philosophy classes, but I had to have 8. And what I found interesting about most of my writing, regardless of the class, is I kept coming back to this concept of truth, objective truth versus subjective truth. And I've completely lost why I'm going here. Hold on. There was a reason. Okay. There is truth, right? Things are true or false. Things happen. There is an objective way to determine these things. But the moment humanity gets involved, there is some element of subjectivity in there. We've talked about this a little bit before. But as I went further with that, I realized that subjectivity at times becomes even more important than the objectivity. For example, a gift. Here's a great example. Go into any home where parents have a refrigerator and they have kids' artwork up there. That picture that child drew or colored, it's the most valuable thing they can give. Their time, their creativity, something that they invested what they had into, the intent, and they gave it away to someone they loved. Now, what about somebody else who gives, let's say, something more expensive? How about somebody who gives a gift at the office because everyone else is, and they don't want to look bad? Which of those gifts is more valuable? The intent matters. What if I try to do something nice for you and it doesn't work out? The intent matters. We don't value intent terribly often. We get so wrapped up in outcome. There are plenty of outcomes that are good and positive, but the intent was not. We tend to dismiss that and just forget about it. Intent matters. It's not what you give, it's the way you give it. Use only that which works and take it from any place you can find it. I mean, that is the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, right? Take which is useful, discard that which is not, something like that. We do this inherently in life, in martial arts. There are times where, yeah, you have to hold on to something that's useful, but it doesn't mean you use it. You may know a form that isn't useful or techniques that aren't useful, but you don't use them. You know them, but you don't apply them. You may have boxes in your attic of things that are not useful, but you feel obligated to keep them. I have some of those things. It's okay. It's part of being human. But when we talk about our techniques, when we talk about our martial arts curriculum or who we are as martial artists, knowing the difference between those movements that really work for us and don't, I think is really important. How do you figure that out? You spend a lot of time doing a lot of movements in a lot of different scenarios. Sometimes a movement isn't applicable in self-defense, but it might be in sparring, or vice versa. Sometimes a movement is applicable in neither, but it helps you understand your body better, or it helps you understand stances better, or it's good for conditioning, or it does something else. I'm on the internet. I am doing a live show. You need to wait. I'll be done soon. If you have cats or kids. If anyone depends on you for anything, you probably understand that. Oh, did you notice I cut my hair? And I'm keeping the beard for now. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't usually hold on to a beard for long, but I guess I am for now. So. Well, it's probably a good place to end, to be honest. I'm going to go work on the book, all the little things I have to do to get it launched. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for coming by. If you want to come by live, remember we do it 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time here on YouTube. You can catch it later at audio. And most importantly, if you've got stuff you want me to talk about, drop in the comment section below. After the show closes, I'll respond tomorrow. And if you want to support us, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick, or make a purchase at whistlekick.com with the code FIRSTCUP15. Thanks, everybody. Leave me stuff for tomorrow. I'll see you then. Take care. Peace.